In this example, we'll show how J can be used to retrieve data from an external resource and perform analysis and graphing. This will be a short example and is meant to really just showcase the abilities of J and is not meant to be a training video. Further training can be found on jsoftware.com. To get started, we will go ahead and launch the JHS interpreter versus the Qt version. We'll take the address, paste it in to our web browser, and now we have a fully functioning J interpreter. We can do a very simple hello world. For this example, we'll need to create a file since this will be a longer example. So we'll go to link jfile, and we'll create a new file. And we'll rename that file to be stocks.js. We'll launch the file by double-clicking on it, and now we have our file. Our goal is to retrieve stock prices from Yahoo and do some graphing. So we need a couple libraries, so we'll load those libraries in by using the load statement. So we'll grab load web get HTTP. We need to be working with CSV data, and we need to be working with, and we'll be using plotting. To run this, we can hit escape R. Now we have it, and we can type get HTTP google.com, for example, to demonstrate that it's working. Our URL will be from Yahoo, which is iChart. Now we can define a function either multiple ways. In this example, we'll be using a single line definition. And so J executes from right to left, so we're saying concatenate the supplied variable, which is y, x and y. This is a monad, so it'll be y, with URL. We'll call get HTTP on it, and we'll turn it into a CSV. We can test this out by going back to the interpreter and typing Microsoft. Now we can see Microsoft stock prices. We may be interested in getting multiple at once, so we can define quotes and say quote each of DAL and UAL, and now we'll retrieve 2 quotes back. We can test that by typing how many quotes do we have. We can see the first quote by using this to get the first quote, and we can get the first row of the quote by typing the same. So this is saying get me the first row of this array. This is saying get me the first row of that array, which in this case is the header. We may be interested in working with these independently, so we can do that with a single line definition of assigning these variables to the result of that. So now we can execute just the header against DAL. Now, if we want to just work with the data, we'll use the bhead to do that. So now we have just the data. We want to use the 4th row, because looking back at we saw that the 4th column is what we're interested in, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can get the 4th column with this, and this is our list of prices. So we'll put that back over here, and we'll want to convert this into a list of numbers for plotting. We can plot this data by simply executing plot prices. Now, one of the things we noticed is that the data is actually reversed. So this is 2014, and we really want this plot to go from left to right. So we're going to go back over here, and instead we're going to reverse DALD. And now, if we execute this again, we can see that our data goes from left to right, and we can replot the data and see it as expected. Now if we're interested in finding when the max price is, we can see it's happening far out here, but let's actually get that date. One of the simple ways of doing this would be to define a max price, which is the greater of all the prices, so we'll insert that between all of our prices. We can see our max price is $32.84, and now we want to find out when did that price happen. So we'll do that by saying find me the index in this array where it was $32.84. Which is 1692, and we can say get me the actual full row from this using, we can see that happened on January 22nd, 2014. We're going to move a little bit faster now and pull all these pieces together. Our next goal is to plot multiple tickers at once. To do this, we're going to use the plotting function. And so let's start going. We know that we need to plot a price, and this will be new here, but to plot multiple prices we want to use the PD command to do this. And as before, we need to reverse the list of values. For our list of tickers, we're going to use another monad, which will take a list of tickers. And just to make it a little bit cleaner, we'll do it like this, PD reset, and now we need to specify the key. And to specify the key, we need to take that list of tickers and concatenate it into, this looks like a lot of syntax here. So let's check this out to see what it looks like. So if our tickers were, let's say, UAL and DAL, here's our tickers. We want to specify a key that looks like this. So that looks like it's working, and we'll get our quotes, again using that same type of approach. Then we'll get our prices using the same approach we used before, converting it to numeric, dropping the first from the fourth column from each of the quotes, and then we will plot those prices. So we're going to execute that plot price function for each of the prices, and then we're going to show the plot. So a lot going on here, but let's see if it works. So now we'll do plot tickers, let's say Microsoft, UAL, DAL, and JetBlue. And now we have a plot of Microsoft, UAL, Delta, and JetBlue. The last thing we'll show is how to calculate the maximum price per year using the stock data. So we had our DALD data, and we want to take that first column and group by that first column. To do that, we'll need to first get an array of years. We'll do that by taking the first 4 characters from each of the data. So if I take this over here, we see years, there's our years. Now we need to define a grouping function. We'll do that using a dyad that takes the nub and finds it in the supplied array and then groups it. So this looks like a lot of stuff going on here, but we'll give it a test here. So with this, we should be able to do we had our prices, so we should be able to group prices, group by year, and there's our grouped prices. And now we'll want to turn that into a variable, so we can do that. Year groups, and to then find the maximum price per year, we will do max price per we'll again insert this for each of the year groups. And now we'll go ahead and plot this data by doing plot. We'll first create a year keys. Year keys, because we want to have a distinct list of the years, so we can do that by, there's our years, and so we can now plot our year keys with our max price per year. Max price per year. There we go.